In today's Leeds news, Okafor's Swiss row continues. Dan James' situation should be sorted. Willie Gnonto's absence explained. And journalist links wild winger with Leeds. Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds View for Tuesday morning, the 11th of November with your Leeds United news. Hope your week is going well so far. A lot of stuff to cover today and over the course of the week. Contractually obliged to talk about this, so bear with me. The replica shirts for the old retro goalkeepers are now available in the Leeds United Club store. If you want to support the channel through our links down below, you can do so as well. And also there is 30% off all Leeds United replica shirts this season's kit right now, which runs until the 16th of November. There is a code that you will need for that, and the code is MOT. So you want to do that if you were buying anything for Christmas, there's some options, some links down below. You can do that, and that will help support the channel. Outside of that, let's get stuck into the news, and we'll start off with the Okafor Swiss situation, and it's getting a bit more tense around there. Switzerland manager Murat Yakin decided to aim shots at Okafor last week when quizzed on Okafor's continued absence from the national team's selection, and very clearly aimed the responsibility at Okafor himself, saying that he has told Okafor what he wants to see from him on and off the pitch, which is a slightly difficult situation for Okafor because on the pitch he is carrying out the instructions that Daniel Farke wants and likely can't give Yakin exactly what he wants. Okafor commented when speaking to The Athletic last week that the situation around this was sad and that he wanted to be part of the Swiss national side and that nobody in the Swiss management contacted him anymore or even contacted him to congratulate him on his move to Leeds United. He's been very much cut adrift by the management. Today, the Swiss FA have decided to get involved in the situation and add to the commentary around that, and their FA sporting director has aimed some very direct criticism back at Okafor. The Swiss FA sporting director Pierluigi Tammy has criticised Okafor for going public and as they see it, is airing his grievances publicly. Tammy believes that the timing of Okafor's comments around this situation were poor and they are currently focused on the players they've got in their camp right now, which again seems quite harsh given that Yakin has now on several occasions blamed Okafor for the situation, which is again out of his control. He blamed him for not playing as a left winger when he was at AC Milan. He doesn't pick the team, they picked him as a striker, and his in-game instructions as well, which again are likely down to the club managers that he's got. And the Leeds attacker was simply replying to questions being asked to him by The Athletic around how he felt about his absence from the Swiss national team setup. Sporting director Tammy spoke to Blick this week and he said this on the topic. Noah could have picked up the phone and called Yakin at any time. His decision to speak out now is not good. This is the wrong moment. We don't need an apology right now. Only the team that matters. After the training camp, I'll certainly do something, but that's all in the future. I expect patience and humility from him. Okafor again was simply replying to a question that was being asked him, and it didn't appear to be that disrespectful to the Swiss camp, but it appears from the Swiss perspective that they feel that they can comment on the Okafor situation as much as they like, and they would rather that Okafor stays quiet on the situation. And asking the player to have patience is a fair comment to make, but it's been exactly 1 year since Okafor received his last international call-up, and there is a World Cup at the end of this season as well, and he wants to be part of that squad. So it's a very difficult position for Okafor to be in, but as a Leeds United fan, from a Leeds United perspective, we get to keep him home, keep him fresh, keep him healthy and have him ready for Aston Villa in 2 weeks time, which will be a hugely important game for Leeds, and he has been a hugely important player for Leeds so far this season. Are definitely our best attacking threat so far. But let's move on. Let's talk about Dan James and Dan James' limited minutes in the last game for Leeds United. Had most people scratching their heads, but Daniel Farke insisted that James was fit and the decision was based on his performances. James didn't start this season on fire, but Daniel Farke a few weeks ago pointed out to the fact that James didn't have a full pre-season under his belt and hasn't really been available for about 2 months now. So what performances that have kept him out of the side recently are being discussed is anyone's guess. James is on international duty now, and Craig Bellamy is a big fan of Dan James, so will likely be happy to have him at the camp. And as he has been past fully fit, he will likely start in their games over the next week or so. Leeds Live piece today points to the fact that James hasn't really featured fully fit for Leeds United since April, when you take into account that he was injured while playing at the start of this season. So the criticism around his performances does seem a little bit harsh. James will play against North Macedonia in the final match of his international break, while other right winger Brendan Aronson will be in Florida on Wednesday before the Aston Villa game, giving him limited turnaround time to be back involved, and that could sort out the situation for them. Given the pressure on Daniel Farke, we're likely to see some changes around this situation. We've seen it before. 2 seasons ago, it was the Jorginho Rutter, Joel Pirouz swapping them around situation. Eventually, the change was made. Then we saw it last year with Ilan Meslier. Change came eventually after a lot of pressure, and now there seems to be more pressure building again. But the fact that Brendan Aronson plays on the Wednesday night before the Aston Villa game in Florida means that might actually make the situation a little bit easier. And Dan James, who will be playing far more locally, could come in for a start against Villa. Daniel Farke will have a home game coming out on the international break, which is much needed for him and the club right now. But he's only won 4 games after an international break in the time at Leeds United. But getting the selection right for this game will be hugely important for Leeds United, as they will need to get something out of this game to try and take any of the pressure off around the place right now. So yeah, difficult couple of weeks coming up in terms of selection, and hoping that everyone comes back for international duty fit and healthy. But speaking about fit and healthy players, let's talk about Willy Gnonto. During last week's press conference, Daniel Farke gave the impression that Willy Gnonto may not travel with the Leeds United squad for the Nottingham Forest game. And as the weekend finished, that was exactly what happened. No Willy Gnonto in the Leeds United squad. There have been questions since then about his fitness and about possible injury issues. But after the Forest game, Daniel Farke clarified the position around Willy Gnonto, and he said the following on Gnonto's injuries. He was out for such a long time. He has had calf problems and hernia problems. We discussed it as an option to take him with us, perhaps not to start the game, but as an option for the bench. But in the end, we decided after the training week that we didn't want to take the risk today, because we have right now 2 more weeks of training for him. So after a really long term injury and surgery, we thought for this game to bring him perhaps for the bench was a risk not worth taking. He has 2 more weeks, and that would be more or less 4 weeks in training, so it's a bit like a mini pre-season for him. Farke did bring Dominic Calvert-Lewin with the squad at the weekend after admitting that the striker wasn't fully fit and was likely only to be available for 30 minutes. And we have seen him bring Ethan Ampadu straight back into the Leeds United starting lineup after 3 months out last season when he clearly wasn't fully fit. So there's more context to that situation. But Leeds need as many attacking players as they can right now, and players that can do something around the edge of the box, whether that's take shots from distance or whether it's feeding other players to score goals. And time isn't exactly on Leeds United's hands right now. Farke's comments mean that all going well, we should likely see Willy Gnonto back involved in the Leeds United squad for the Aston Villa game. And again, right now Leeds United do have a fully fit squad outside of Sebastian Bornau's MCL, which again, he's not really been in the squad for Leeds recently, so not the end of the world there. And DCL's got a bit of a knock, but he did come off the bench and play against Nottingham Forest. So going to that game again, full attacking options are available, and we'll need to get one right for that match. Let's move on and talk about a claim of a winger coming in from Brazil, and this one's really interesting and a bit mad as well, so I'll give you the detail on this as much as I have, and then we'll chat about it, I suppose, afterwards. Based on Daniel Farke's comments last week on the January transfer window, it's safe to assume that Leeds will become active once the winter window opens, unless they go on one hell of an unbelievable run of games between now and the start of the January transfer window. Lots of names have been linked to Leeds over recent weeks. Harry Wilson's name keeps popping up, as they did try to get him very late on. But today, from Brazil, there has been another name mentioned that is brand spanking new. According to Brazilian journalist Fabrizio Lopes, he claims that West Ham United, Bournemouth and Leeds United have all shown interest in Flamengo winger Gonzalo Plata. The 25 Ecuadorian's situation at Flamengo has been described as growing tense in recent weeks after he received his 3rd red card of the season. Reports from Brazil claim that Flamengo have grown frustrated with the winger, whose off-field antics haven't really helped his situation either, going to a nightclub the night before a match. The club are now said to be open and interested in taking offers for the winger. It's not really surprising, is it? However, there is more to this, and West Ham, Leeds and Bournemouth are all said to have already made inquiries around the player's situation, and he was described when he joined Flamengo as a player that had a very big future in the game. From a positional perspective, he ticks a huge amount of Leeds United's boxes. He's 25 years of age. He is a right winger who likes to come in and shoot onto his left foot. He is seen as a very creative player, and he can play on both wings as well as in the number 10 position. So when you go through Leeds' normal hierarchy of what they want from a player, it's tick, 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 tick. every single one. The one that's not tickable is the character in the dressing room, and that is the question mark around Plata. The report states that despite the controversy surrounding the player, Plata is still regarded highly as a player in Brazil and is seen as a very talented winger. This season, Plata has got 4 goals and 1 assist in his 13 starts, and he also featured during the Club World Cup in the summer, where he got 2 assists in the 3 games. When you look at Plata playing and we look at the clips of him, and again, they're only clips, he is a very exciting player. He's a very talented player. Maybe Leeds need a bit of crazy right now, but he does seem to have a very aggressive nature in how he approaches football. If you could manage the off-field stuff as well, that would be the big challenge. But from a Leeds United perspective, they've talked an awful lot about getting the right characters in and around the place. Personally, I think Leeds need a little bit more aggression in their side. Not saying we should go full dirty Leeds, but maybe a little bit of it. Plata has that edge to his game, and talented players usually have an edge, but he's a good player. He's a very talented winger. He's an exciting player. He'd get you off your seat anyway. But yeah, the 3 red cards this season, which is very much a this season issue, but some of the issues off the pitch as well. He seems like a player who is no longer settled at Flamengo and possibly trying to push for a move away from the club. And whether it's Leeds, Bournemouth or West Ham, it'll be a toss of a coin between Leeds and West Ham if they do decide to get him with teams that are down there around the bottom end of the Premier League. So yeah, I wanted to give you that story today. I dug it out from a Brazilian website. It's an interesting story. Exciting player. A little bit mad. But maybe we need a little bit of mad right now. Anyway, folks, that'll be it for me today. You can check out the podcast from last night. Myself, Jerry and Paul having a chat. No longer a live stream. It was a recorded podcast, much more concise, and is available on all the audio platforms as well, across iTunes, Spotify and everywhere else you get your podcast. So you can check that out if you want to. And again, the links for the affiliate stuff down below for the jerseys. The 30% off retro kits until the 16th of November with the MOT code, as well as the goalkeeper retro tops. You can check them all down below. Outside that, enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back possibly tonight with a bit of a bonus live stream, or bonus podcast from the 72 documentary team as well, to talk about that and some possible giveaways for everybody as well. So you can check that out over the next couple of hours when it does go up later on tonight. Outside that, enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.